All right, I just want to highlight two of the recommended readings from this week, but really all four of them are good. So I'll start with Bartik. Bartik provides a modern policy perspective on why and how place-based job policies can help struggling local economies. What he's really asking here is, can we design policies that create jobs where they're needed the most? So he evaluates the effectiveness of state and local incentives, so things like tax breaks or targeted grants. And he argues that even when these are targeted correctly, they can promote equity and efficiency by addressing market failures. So things like involuntary unemployment, agglomeration economies, agglomeration effects, and the input market gaps. Now, there's a few interesting nuggets from Bartik that's worth mentioning. First, the US government spends about $60 billion annually on place-based incentives. But he argues that these are often poorly targeted. People aren't perfectly mobile. They tend to stay near their home due to family, to familiarity with the region, to their identity being tied to a place. So when there are local shocks, they tend to have long-lasting effects. People don't instantly move somewhere else where there is something better going on. The average person still lives within 15 miles of their mom. So we see there is quite a bit of people just staying where they're born. They stay connected to that area. So job creation in distressed places is higher social returns because you have people who really want to stay there and who are really, really slow to move. So it can have really high social returns. So reducing crime, reducing poverty, reducing the fiscal strain on local governments, which if you live in more of an outlying area, is something that's really, really a serious problem that's been growing. And Bartik calls for federal support for locally designed place-based policies, once these grounded in data and evidence. I tend to be a little bit more skeptical of government programs, especially, federally designed programs for something local because they just don't have the expertise and the knowledge on the ground to do this. But I still think it's really interesting to hear about this and to kind of think through the implications of this sort of policy. And the second one to look at is at Klein and Moretti. What they're doing here is they're thinking about helping places and thinking when is helping places actually helping people? Even though you're focusing on the place, you can, by focusing on the place, you can also help the people in that place. Not always going to be the case, but sometimes it really can be the place. So if we back up a little bit, cities compete for firms, states can offer tax breaks to different businesses, politicians promise jobs, but economists, they kind of step back and ask a different question that many are willing to look past. So you can propose all these great sounding programs, but do these local economic development programs actually make society better off? They sound good, but are they effective? And of course, economists use economic reasoning to ask questions like, should policy help struggling places, or should it help people directly regardless of where they live? And you can imagine good justifications for both sides of this argument. I hope you trust me by now, after doing these readings, that people in capital don't freely move between locations, that there really are frictions. People don't simply just move to new places. It's pretty difficult to move. So when a region loses jobs, the workers there often stay. They may not be workers anymore. They may be forced to leave the labor force and be unemployed for long periods of time. So you get both people and places that are stuck in decline. And that's the basic justification for state-based or place-based policies, that you have a population of people who are unwilling and unable to move. So if you help revitalize an area, you help all those people in that area. The welfare case for place-based policy depends on how mobile people are and how strong the local spillovers are. So think of it this way. A subsidy that keeps jobs in a low productivity region might lower national efficiency. It might be better to locate those jobs in a high productivity area. So think of a decaying steel town like Farrell, Pennsylvania. But if migration barriers are high, helping people in that region may be the only way to help those workers. Targeting a subsidy or just allowing firms to locate or new businesses to locate in that high efficiency area won't help those people that are stuck in that decaying area like Farrell, Pennsylvania. And if the policy has agglomeration effects, so if there's spillovers from this clustering, from these new businesses being formed in this area, it might even improve efficiency too. So Klein and Moretti don't say never do place-based policy or always do place-based policy. What they conclude is that it depends. And as an economist, I like that answer. Let's do some analysis and see if this policy is worth it.